Hey. We live. Now what are we going to do?
Hey. Sorry, that was the worst.
Hello, everybody.
Yep, we live.
Now you got to talk about stuff, Mike.
Oh, okay.
You turned the stream on. Now you're committed.
I got to talk about stuff? I don't want to.
There's always a catch.
Always a catch, yeah. Well, we got some physicalism to talk about and stuff like that, I guess. May as well start out with a little bit of Bernardo Kastrup. How about that?
That's fine. That's a great idea.
Sounds like a wiener.
So Bernardo Kastrup did about 500 videos 1 year ago. And he's done a few. You found one that he did 2 weeks ago. So he's still alive. But he looks a lot thinner in the new one. Didn't you think so?
Yeah, he did.
And
he was looking a little thick there for a while.
Yeah. Let's see if I can pull him up here. We got, let's see, that's Chromo. Okay, so we got a little bit of Kastrup here. Let me know if I get echoey. I'll put my headphones on. Consciousness is not in your head. So I haven't listened to much of this one, but let's see what
sometimes because they are perfectly descriptive. It's a consciousness, and it has no boundaries within the physical universe. A more technical way to describe it would be a field of subjectivity that has no spatial bounds, a spatially unbound field of subjectivity that underlies all nature. And because we are part of nature, that field of subjectivity underlies us, and that's why we are essentially subjective creatures. We are mental creatures. And our mentation, when observed from the outside, looks like a physical body, a brain and brain activity. Am I wrong?
That's the part I like. That.
I think at that time, a steel rod should have gone through the front of his head.
Right.
And then we can talk about how consciousness or mental processes are unbounded.
Right.
And he again is, it's only physical because we think it is. He's still, I'm still stuck on that where it's only becomes physical because we think it in our mind.
There is no spoon.
Yeah, I'm still stuck on how that separates.
Yeah, I'm kind of stuck on. Okay, so it's the greater consciousness, a universal field of consciousness that creates everything, including us, including our neurons, right? But now, if I look at your neurons, my subjectivity, or if I look at your subjective experience, I see neurons. That's what he keeps saying over and over again, and it's very confusing. I'm hoping those guys on the Discord forum can straighten me out a little bit, but I just don't get how that works. How, okay, what did he say that, where the hell is it here? Consciousness is not in your head. Well, I wanted to get to the physicalism stuff, so we got to delve into that, though. I really want to stretch my head around how he thinks. When he sees neurons and neural activity on a brain scanner, he claims that he's looking at somebody's subjective experience. And now a physicalist would say roughly the same thing. So I don't really understand how he's different than physicalism. I don't know.
And he also said when about somebody mentioned God or something, and he says, well, I don't think we have to add anything in. But isn't his universal mind also adding something in? It seems to be this.
Yeah, for him, it's simple. There's only one thing, and that's a universal mind. There is nothing else. We are dissociative illusions inside of the universal mind, as he has proven with his 3 or 4 references to neuroscience research. Right. One of them is psychedelics. One of them is mediums writing complex text while using less of the brain. Another one is people asphyxiating. Another one is NDEs. He refers to all that.
Yep.
So he's got all these little one-off things that he goes for. But anyway, let's see. So physicalism. Okay, your consciousness is not in your head. Okay, that's one of them. And the other one is called Is Materialism a Fantasy? Okay. So we'll play a little bit here.
That's kind of behind our ordinary perceptions. Actually, that's a kind of mistake. All there is perception. Although maybe you could help clarify what's the difference between it's all in my head and idealism as you propose it.
So idealism does acknowledge that there is a world out there. What it denies is that such a world out there is essentially different from mentation, that it is made of matter in the sense strictly defined under metaphysical materialism, which is something that is fully described in terms of quantities alone and has no inherent qualities.
Okay, that's the straw man right there. So he's claiming that physicalists believe that it's just dead matter and it doesn't have any qualities. There's nothing about it that we have to worry about other than what we can measure, like its mass, maybe its distance or whatever. So he doesn't acknowledge 99% of modern science, basically, which is all about people.
That's a great way to have your own worldview, is to just ignore everything that you don't like.
Right. Yeah. To make physicalism sound really dumb. Like he'll talk about dead matter. Oh, it's all dead matter. How can dead matter have consciousness and all that stuff? And it's like, okay, scientists don't call matter dead. You don't find quantum physicists talking about dead quantum mechanics. It's all dead.
Mm.
Or any. So it's a complete straw man of physicalism and science in general.
Hey, take a quick look at the private chat. Private chat.
Comments are switched off below. Is that on purpose? Oh, shit, again? God.
No, that's not the private chat.
Oh, private chat. Oh, I think I ignore that. Yeah, I got to try to keep up with the comments. So
okay.
Okay, in this sense, strictly defined under metaphysical materialism, which is something that is fully described in terms of quantities alone. No, I mean, why would? Okay, when we're talking about biology, okay, we don't describe molecular biology with nothing but quantities. In other words, okay, I'm going to tell you about the cell membrane. 22.56, 75.34, 85.993. Okay, is that how we talk about biology? No. What does he mean by that? Can anybody steel man what he's saying for me? I mean,
well, you're almost asking us to steel man a straw man.
Yeah, I guess so.
So maybe we can straw man what he thinks he's saying, but what he's saying is a straw man. So it's hard to know.
Steel man a straw man, right?
Yeah, steel man a straw man. What is what point's he trying to make? I don't know, because his point is physicalism dumb. So
yeah. Well, he says so a little later. I think he calls it stupid somewhere in here. Okay.
That's when Grayson's talking with Hovind, and Grayson gives this great response in the Q&A, and it's well worded and everything. And then they switch back over to Hovind, and he goes, "I think it's dumb."
Yeah, I think it's dumb. It's pretty dumb. So Grayson went out to Dinoland and talked to Hovind out there?
He posted it on his channel just a little bit ago. So
okay. We'll have to take a look at that.
Go to his channel and check it out.
Yep. Also, Mandible did a thing on the Essentia Foundation today, a video, and I posted it in the description. So I got to turn my comments back on. Hang on a second here. YouTube, for some reason, started, because I asked YouTube to not censor any comments. It decided to turn off all comments for every video unless I go and turn it back on manually. And I don't know how I'm going to change that, but anyway. Okay, comments are on. Here we go. Scott Duke, I got this half-baked advocacy for trans meat bags. What? Okay, Chris Moore. What do we got here? What I got is this half-baked advocacy for transhumanism, meat bags, digital information, robots equals eternal life. I don't know what you're saying, Chris, but I like it. Anyway. Oh my God. Okay. Okay, let's see. Let's go on a little bit.
In other words, under materialism, the world out there is such that there is nothing it is like to be the world out there.
What the hell is he talking about?
Okay, the world out there is such that it's so. Okay, there's a rock in my backyard, and physicalists would say there's nothing it is like to be the rock, right? So what's the point?
Yeah.
Why do you want it to be like something to be a rock? But he agrees with that, because he will say in a number of places that is metacognition. When you do the what it is like to be me, what you're doing is metacognition. You're commenting on your own internal states, which you can only remember as a memory. You can't comment on your current eternal states. I don't know if he believes that. Him and I might argue a bit on that. But metacognition is something he says the universal consciousness does not have. Universal consciousness only has thoughts or mentation. And those thoughts and mentation are the physical universe. So that's his idea. So that, okay, there's nothing it's like to be a rock. But yet he would say, okay, even when we're not doing metacognition, it is like something to be us, right? But I don't know about that. I don't know how you would prove that, because the only way to prove that is to start doing metacognition. So I think the only time that we are really, really conscious in the phenomenal philosophical sense is when we're thinking about consciousness and awareness, when we stop to check on our own state, right? And we come up with all these metacognitive additions to what's going on with us. But I think like if you take a drive and you go to Walmart and you get there and it's like, shit, I don't remember driving here. How did I get here?
I just saw a meme that said, you know, when you walk into a room and you forget why you walked into the room and you're like,
Oh,
what am I here for?
yeah.
It said maybe you ran into an alien and it blanked your memory so it could escape.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, makes you think, don't it?
It does. Well, that's how I feel every time I start a stream. It's like, why am I here? Why did I decide to do this?
And are you going to mention the hippie stream? Because he was almost making sense when he was talking with the hippies.
Oh, the hippies.
I wonder if he was a lot more, you know, like in a relaxed environment with the two hippie. And I'm not, this is not derogatory. I'm a hippie. I just, because they're sitting cross-legged and they seem to be very hippie-like.
Yeah, I gotta go find that link. Where did I send it? I sent it to you guys, right? The hippie stream.
Yep.
I think these two podcasters. Okay. Here's the hippies. I like these two. I think they're.
I like them too. It's not derogatory in any way. I do not use hippie in a derogatory way. I think they're cool. And I think they had him relaxed enough where he seemed to almost be making sense with some of his answers.
Yeah, he's always relaxed when he is in an environment where somebody might criticize him or take him to task. You'll notice that he doesn't talk to a whole lot of physicalists. He usually goes on these podcasts where everybody agrees with him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
otherwise
like
I
these
might
two,
say, that's really silly, Bernardo.
Yeah, these two, no matter what you say, yeah, they're just open, you know. So they're
They
just
are
going to
very
go, oh, okay, I hear what you're saying, even if they disagree with you. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I
There
like
probably
these.
should be a little more of that, you know, at least before you hit an analytical phase. Go, you know, be in a listening phase where, you know, you are receiving what people are saying, and then just every question is a clarifying question rather than some challenge.
When they show the wide shot there, you can see it's very hippie like. They've got a bunch of musical instruments,
Yeah.
and they're actually sitting at like what do you call it? Like a Japanese table or something.
Okay.
It's only like a foot off the ground, and they're sitting cross-legged there.
Yeah.
So
Well, they're from Oregon, so
yeah. Did you hear why they picked that place?
because of the mushrooms.
No, it's the least likely to get nuked.
Oh wow.
In Oregon?
That's where they. That's what they said. That's why
That
where
was
they
Plymouth
picked.
Rock, Idaho.
Right near the northern California border or something is the least likely place to get nuked. That's what they said.
That's a good
Yeah.
question, Jay.
Yeah. Okay. Realism and materialism. Okay. Materialism, I guess, was kind of like this old idea that there's matter out there and everything's made of matter. And then along comes physics, and they said, fields, you know, and energy, not matter, you know, and you know, it's this sort of dumb straw man of 1950s materialistic values, you know, where everything was materialism, and I don't know. Realism allows for objective reality to include the possibility of non-physical. Well, no, fuck you, Jay. Well, when we talk about physical things, we're not talking about matter. You know, we're talking about, you know, the entire state of the cosmos, right? I mean, that could include singularities, which are really weird, and all kinds of weird possibilities that it's a holographic universe and it's projecting space-time, and all of that is physicalism. So I don't really know where you're going off on this materialism bullshit.
And when he was talking with these two, he also mentioned all kinds of science things that he seemed to agree with, like, you know, evolution, the Big Bang, and all these things. He's just going on and on and on. And it was like it was almost like, wait a minute, where's the other stuff you're usually talking about?
Well, if Kastrup keeps talking, he ends up at the position that physicalism is, if you go to the logical extension of physicalism, right? Which is that there is no such thing as a self, that we shouldn't be overly concerned with this idea of ourself. Hence Buddhism, right? So he acknowledges that. He acknowledges all of science. He accepts all of neuroscience, everything. And at the end of it, he says, oh, but it's all mental. So, I mean, he just like asserts that the whole universe is mentation, but he never actually talks about what mentation is. Does he? I've never heard him talk about what mentation is.
Mentacles.
Yeah, mentacles. Yeah.
That's where I'm. Yeah, I'm still. I still can't nail down if something is, because he says things are physical and real.
Yeah.
But it seems like it's only because either our mind or the universal mind makes it up. So it's still like, well, is it physical or not?
Yeah.
Is it physical only because, you know, it's a projection, or is it actually materializes as physical? I think that's where I'm confused. You know what I mean?
Scott left us for a minute. So
I can understand the brain in the vat or whatever, or somebody's programming something in, and the universal mind is saying, well, yeah, you're sitting in a chair right now, and it's like, okay. But when we have our thoughts, though, is where I get confused, because am I really in a physical chair, or is it only because the universal mind is telling me that I'm in a
Yeah.
Sure.
I got to keep up with Jay Patrick here. Where materialism is the position that everything can be explained to be physical. Yes, it can. Everything can be explained to be physical. Sorry. So I guess I'm a materialist. Okay. So he says that is the distinction between the two philosophical positions, realism versus materialism. So realism is, that what we perceive as real, that, reality with a lowercase r. I don't see the difference. I believe everything can be explained in terms of physicalism and science. And let's see, good day one in what? Non-believer? Okay, so Jay Patrick says next, realism holds to reality being objective. I don't like the subjective objective split. There's only one reality. There's no subjective. It's open to the possibility of objective reality containing supernatural things. No, there are no supernatural things. It's more akin to methodological naturalism. Okay, gotcha. So that would be the realist position. But I'm a little different on all that. There's everything is natural. There is no fucking supernatural anything. I don't even know what it means. It doesn't even make any sense. Let's see here. If someone or something is controlling, okay, this TP seeker is controlling my consciousness, why did it make it? Why did it make it get grades in school I got? Okay. Good point. Anyway.
Yeah, what did I have to do all that studying for only to get a D? I mean, geez.
Hillary's emails is not Hunter's laptop. Okay, got it. I figured that out. Sorry, I had a brain glitch. I'm old.
I thought it for a second too. It is.
It kind of seems like the same.
Similar, yeah.
Something about it. I'm not sure what.
We got you, Hillary's emails.
Yeah, we got you. Okay. Let's see. We're at 4 on this thing. I'm trying to see where I'm at. We're at 4. Let's see. Okay. Let's let him go on a little bit.
Under idealism, there is still a world out there,
Yep.
but there is
Realism.
also something it is like to be the world out there.
Okay. So there's something that's like to be a star, is what he's saying. That it's mental. What the fuck does that mean?
I don't know, because he also says the sun is not conscious.
Yeah. He does.
Once again,
We
it's
perceive
a contradiction.
Something it's like to be the world out there.
these mental processes out there in the form that we call the physical world.
Okay. What mental processes? Okay. What are mental processes? That's an interesting one. So he's just kind of like, okay, mental processes, a neuroscientist would tell you that it's basically your brain going through a sequence of time and having a particular pattern of, firing nerves. And of course, the nerves firing in your body, in your stomach, in your heart, everywhere else, right? And then all of the physical forces from outside of your body impinging on you as an organism and mixing with you. And if you took your 4,000 power microscope, Dave, and you magnified the boundary between my skin and the rest of the world, it would start to get really fuzzy. There'd be a whole fucking butt ton of microorganisms there as well.
That's what the oil thing I learned is, because when you get in that tight, that little bit of light refraction between the lens and the cover slide is what messes up your image. And that's why you have to go to the oil immersion.
Yeah.
So that the light stays straight up through the sample and through your lens.
Right. Anyway, I'm saying if you magnify it enough, you're going to find the boundaries between us to be very small. Yeah, Jay, I understand that what you were doing. So I probably don't agree with any of those positions, realism, physicalism, or whatever, as they're defined. I kind of have my own. I'm kind of rolling my own. So because I get rid of all the stupid misconceptions that lead you down one rabbit hole or another.
Yeah, and you know when you put something in water and it looks bent,
Yeah.
that's actually what we have dealing with the air too. We just don't notice it, or the light through the air that we're seeing right now.
Oh, if you do
Because
enough mushrooms.
yeah, but we're compensating for it. Yeah, but yeah, you can mess up with your eyes with trails and everything else. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So, but yeah, that's that. So we just don't notice it until we look at the glass of water, because we're not usually looking into a glass of water. But if we weren't usually looking through the air, we would notice that everything is a little bit off because
Yeah.
the light's bouncing off.
Oh,
Fascinating.
I listened to him babble on until 5:01, where he really gets to the heavy straw manning.
But there is still an objective world out there. It's just mental and not physical in the way that it is defined under physicalism or materialism.
What does that mean? I mean, okay, there's an objective world out there, and we're going to give it a label physical, or we're going to give it a label mental. What the hell is the difference? What are you talking about? It makes absolutely no sense at all. Other than, let's see, okay, so if the world out there is mental, and we're like a little tiny lens on the world, and we feel the world as mentation, or whatever, mental, right? The rest of the world is doing that same thing. It just doesn't make any fucking sense.
Right. That's where's the actual connection with this universal mind?
He never really defines what mental is. He just assumes that it's some sort of ontic substance that he's going to assert. I'm going to assert that there is mental, and I know that because I know I have mental in myself, right? I'm doing mental right now. So I'm just going to assert that everything is made of the same stuff that my mental is made of. And what he's doing is reifying his own phenomenal awareness of the world. And he gets all bollocksed up with it. And then he decides to cast that on the rest of the universe for some reason.
Because he made it clear in that other video that we had up earlier that he is not in connection with another mind. He cannot read my mind. And he is not in connection with another galaxy or anything. So what is the universal mind doing? Go ahead, Scott.
I'm sorry, man. I'm trying to, let's call it Bernardo-splain the position or the answer to Jay's question. I wonder how he would take the question if ever in the world. Well, that's a good question, but that's not the one I was answering. Jay's coming at us with good questions and feedback. But let's see.
Oh, goddamn, Jay. Okay, no. Bernardo would say that, yes, the world existed before there were any organisms or human consciousnesses, and it will exist after all of them are gone. So he would say that if everyone in the world were ceased to exist, would reality cease to exist? He would say no. The universal consciousness is there without us. So
because when he mentioned evolution, before evolution and everything or something like that, it was still there. So it would exist.
The original question, I think, that I just couldn't find it up further, was from Jay was, is he a hard solipsist? And I said, yeah, he does kind of broach that territory. And then I gave an explanation about the analogy to dissociative personality in kind of a dissociative identity disorder complex. So that's kind of what he thinks about individual personalities, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Jay's reply was, "Da fuck," and that's about all I could do is go, "Yeah, da fuck." But I guess he's not a hard solipsist. But a lot of times when I read his shit or I hear about his shit, I'm thinking, boy, he's hitting solipsism, or boy, he's hitting Gnosticism, or it's like it's inconsistent, maybe a little irrational,
No, he gets out of solipsism by saying that there is a universal mind, and he accepts that there are other individual consciousnesses So he basically gets out of it in the same way a physicalist would, right? I mean, like, we accept that we all have, you know, this private experience inside of our brains, inside of our bodies. I accept that your heart is beating and I can't see it, Scott. I accept that your mind is working and your brain is working and I can't see it. So he accepts all of that and he gets out of all of that. And that's how he manages to navigate all of science, because he's claiming that it's just all mental. Okay. So Mandible says in his PhD thesis, BK states that his reduction base mind, which is his ontic primitive, right? That's the primitive ontology, is just picked, not argued. A problem, since philosophy is about arguing, not cherry picking. Something does not exist by being picked by BK. Interesting. That's his argument. He just picked it.
So it's just asserted.
It's
It's
just labeled.
something he asserts, and if you're asserting something without any kind of support, then I guess you are cherry picking in a way.
Yeah.
I guess you might have a reason to assert something, like I'm asserting this because it would make everything else that I'm saying flow together. But if you have no basis for asserting it, or if you're just picking it as the reason, then, you know, why the hell not?
Okay, Icarus. BK is a solipsism. We are a brain in a vat, but the brain is mental and the vat is mental. Well, when you listen to him talk, that's kind of what you end up with. It's like, it's very much like brain in a vat, except that everything around us is mental too. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, I get it now. The world is non-physical reality that is dependent on the universal consciousness. Easy enough. He's overcomplicated a God concept. Basically, yeah. Yeah, God is the universe, you know. So a physicalist could maintain that God is the universe, or say that the universe is God. If you ask me what God is, it's the cosmos. Is the cosmos out there mentating? The thing is, when he talks about thinking, like he says that the universal consciousness is thought, right? So when you talk about thinking, that covers a wide variety of things that we do. One of the things we do is we string words together. We do it linguistically. We can do it conceptually. I can imagine myself getting up and grabbing a glass of water. I can imagine my body parts, you know, what I have to move in order to grab water. I can think over a design and start maybe drawing it in my head, you know, a design for a building or something like that. I can, but anyway, thinking is a sequential process. So how does that make a universe? I don't know how that makes a universe.
So, and back to the communication line, he seemed to indicate that when he was talking about ancient Indian cultures, is that they were somehow in tune, and that's how they knew things thousands of years ago.
Oh yeah, that's the old fucking saw.
So yeah, so again, it's what is the, you know, is it a two-way connection or is it only a one-way connection with this mind? Did the mind just let people know in India 3, 4, 5,000 years ago some things just in their head so they could write it down? Or, you know, it's still confusing if this is a one-way or a two-way communication.
Scott, can you please post the channel, please? What does an unbeliever want?
And yeah, it is overcomplicating a God thing, because he does talk about Hindu texts and the Bible in that one video. So we were wondering still if he isn't just, he dances around a God because he says you don't need to add a God, but you have to add a universal mind.
Yeah. Okay, let's see here. Nonbeliever wants Scott to post your channel.
Post Dave's channel?
I don't know. I think maybe your channel.
Oh, I really don't have a channel. I mean, I've got a few playlists on there, but yeah, there's no I don't produce my own content or anything. Any content I have produced is private and for the consumption of my family members.
TP Seeker just stated what goes on in my mind every morning when I get up and read Bernardo's thesis on analytical idealism. It drives me fucking nuts. The world is not real or physical. It's in our minds. We're just perceiving it. And perception, you know, we can have illusions and all this bullshit. Yeah, it drives me fucking crazy too. Oh, let's see. You could also be persuaded to hold certain thoughts. Yeah. So I mean, if he's gonna say that the universal mind can only think, it can't do metacognition, I don't think it can perceive, because in perceiving, the universal mind creates the universe. I think Bernardo would probably say that. So we're getting a little closer to trying to understand how this guy's mind works. I don't understand how he wipes his butt. I really don't.
That's another God concept.
And is that a mentation? Is the product of your butt that you are wiping a mentation?
Right.
If so, what mind is actively thinking that up? Because I've been looking up the word mentation. There may be an article about it in like the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy. I don't know. I haven't got that far yet. But all mentation is defined as a noun form of mental activity. If you're having mental activity, you're having a mentation. But I don't. You're having mentation. You're not having. I don't know that a mentation is something that you can have. You can have mentation, which is, you know, just the thing that's going on while you're having mental activity. So what is mental activity?
Right.
Does it exist beyond the neurons and the exchange of ions that goes, you know, that takes place? I'm sure there are certain other chemical transactions that take place. I'm not a neurologist or neuroscientist, but can you have mentations that take place without physical matter? There's nothing in our language that defines it. I guess like a spirit, a ghost, a ghostly present. But even ions are physical. I don't know what people think ghosts are made of. You know?
I don't know. Yeah.
So this is where I come to a full stop. Is he's using a noun, but he's just reifying the idea of mental activity into a substance.
Yep. That's the whole point that's the whole mistake, is reifying what's going on in you and I right now, or, you know, all the things that are happening to us, and saying, oh no, that is a substance. There's something ontically, like, primal in that substance, that the qualities of seeing the color pink or whatever. And that's the mistake that they make.
Because it needs us to have the metacognition, because you said it doesn't have that, right?
Yeah.
That's like when gods have to become incarnate because they can't experience or you know, they don't know what it's like to have an emotion or whatever it is, so they become incarnate to actually interact with us. And in a way, they can't experience these things without us, even though they're the super being.
Yeah.
So you've got this super mind, but yet the super mind still can't do the metacognition, like what's it like to be in love, or, you know, all these kind of like more beyond just the physical things of being. So it needs us in a way to understand itself.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of
The universe looking back at itself type thing.
That's one of the logical extensions of physicalism, right? Okay, there's a physical universe. It's made of whatever in the hell physicists are currently working on and figuring out. And on this one little tiny speck of dust called the planet Earth, life evolved, and we were able to evolve in such a fashion that we can actually basically fold back on ourselves and look at ourselves, right? In some fashion, right? In a brain-like way. And we are like the pinnacle of the universe being able to experience itself. But it's only us that can do that. And all that's compatible with physicalism, unless you look at his straw man of physicalism, right? Which wouldn't say that.
The universe threw a big rock at Earth to wipe out the dinosaurs so the mammals could rise up because it needed us. And it said, you know what? Let's throw a big rock.
Or that, shit just happened.
Because we need evolved mammals.
Well, the thing is that we evolved and primates, like human primates, we basically evolved to the point where we could confuse the fuck out of ourselves about what's really going on. Whereas a squirrel is not confused at all about his mentation or mentacles or any of that stuff. You'll never find an idealist squirrel running around in your yard. So we've evolved to the point where we can.
The squirrel doesn't need anything else. The squirrel already needs this is what a squirrel does, and the squirrel is good. So yeah, it doesn't need that other.
Yeah, all he cares about is his nuts, and and the squirrel.
He's not delving into the deeper meaning of the nuts.
Yeah. So, like when they talk about, the Egyptians understood this, but now modern man forgot about it and doesn't understand it because modern man is a scientist and they're dumb. And the ancient Indians and Chinese, they understood it. Well, I'll go one step further and say, no, the squirrels are the ones that got it right. And all the rest of us are idiots. We fucked it up. Basically, the Indians and the ancient Chinese and the Egyptians had to rediscover what the squirrels already knew, that it's just about gathering your nuts. Just get your nuts in a bunch. Okay, they are. They're. Oh, so non-believer, did you want to link to our channel? So
non-believers over at Dave's, I think.
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
And so I'm going to give non-believer a link to our stream because, there are comments being posted.
Yeah. And
Okay.
it is hard to skip from place to place.
Oh, wait a minute. I didn't put it in the right one. Let me put it in both channels. Yeah, it's kind of confusing when we're pairing like this. I capture
People are definitely engaged. I really like that. It's just keeping up with them. It's a little difficult.
I know. Keeping up with them's hard. Okay. Made up of ghosts, made up of ectoplasm.
Okay. Mandible is making a point. Have you looked at that yet?
Oh, I'm not sure. Who is?
Mandible.
Oh,
it's on the screen now.
Oh, how far down are you? Holy shit. We missed a few. We
really did. And if we're missing your stuff, at some point we just need to let some people in and do a round table of people sharing their thoughts if they want to do that. Now they may be really good with the side chat, but not want to get on and publicly speak.
Right. Rejecting physicalism is not a rejection of physics. Physicalism is a metaphysics, not for me so much. Physics is a description about how your cognitions behave and quantifying them by comparing them to each other. Okay. You want to unpack that for me?
Okay.
Ooh. Give me a minute.
Yeah, that's the thing about streaming this stuff is sometimes you need a minute, and that's not good broadcasting.
Yeah. We're all going to take a minute. We'll just
we're going to take our minutes.
Dead air for about 3 minutes. Okay. When I get to work, I'll make sure to take my headset. That is if you guys are still going. I don't know, Jay. We're not going to be going that long. I tend to wear out pretty fast on this shit. So long, Jay. Go drive to work. Goddamn, get
Jay
your
leaving us. Thank you for your contributions, Jay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. This idea of what physicalism is. How the hell do I start to explain? I was trying to explain it today on a Discord server, and
well, doesn't Alyssa Ney talk about 2 physicalisms in one of her videos? I will get that link.
Yeah, that would be good. Mine is pretty much methodological in that I don't go down to an ontic base because you don't really have to. You don't need to. I was trying to explain this thing about scale, and basically at scale, everything that we need to explain ourselves as biological organisms and as thinking organisms, we only have to go down to the level of atomic orbitals, basically. We don't have to go any fucking further than that. We don't have to worry about quantum effects because quantum effects don't have shit to do with what's happening to us. You cannot go through a concrete wall. You deal with materials, which are all made of elements, and we know what the elements are. We have the periodic chart. You don't need to go any further to explain all of this stuff. You don't need to worry about quantum non-locality or any of that bullshit. And there is no mentacles. They've never found a mentacle. The physicists haven't, so we don't have to worry about those. We just have to explain it with chemistry. And we can explain everything about us with just going down to the level of chemistry. And that's kind of what my physicalism is, that at the scale that we are an organism in the universe, and we are at a certain scale. We have a certain size that we're concerned with. And all the things that we deal with in the world are basically within our scale, our size. And as it turns out in modern man, that scale is at the atomic level. We understand molecular biology. And from that, we can explain everything we need to know about our universe, our consciousness, everything. So that's kind of like my physicalism. You can explain everything with that scale. You don't have to go any further. A meter is a standard object used to compare other objects. I'm not sure why Mandible said that. I don't know.
My thing is still, if it's only a one-way communication, it's the same as a God that's outside of our universe, etc. Changing.
So TP Seeker, that's an example of
laws as to
metacognition. I posted
what the universal mind is actually good for. I'm still lost.
Yeah, why call it mental at all? In what way is it mental? In what way is it thought? I don't understand what he means by that. So TP Seeker says, I posted the Answers in Atheism link in Answers in Atheism. I also posted it in Dave's channel. But I was just showing you an example of metacognition, basically. I always post a link to my video in my video. You can thank me later.
Okay, so actually the word in question is mentacles.
I should put it in the description. What did you say, Scott?
So
mentacles.
when I was focusing on mentations, the word we were actually looking for was mentacles. So I need to go and do a little word research on a mentacle. Is it MENTICLE?
I invented it, so you probably won't find it.
Oh, I thought you said that was one of his things.
No, he calls it mentation.
Okay. Yeah, so mental activity, but that begs the question, isn't mental activity transfer of ions and maybe a few chemicals and hormones?
Yep. All the stuff going on in your brain could be called mental activity.
You'd have physical, which would be physicalism.
Okay.
Right?
Or is it?
Or is it?
That's
yeah,
the thing.
that's the thing.
Or is it? Okay, why are you?
It's like, okay, he's saying this. Okay, it's like, okay, but
yeah, he tends to invert things a lot. He flips things a lot, and I agree with a lot of stuff that Kastrup come up with. And I think he is brilliant in that he came up with some interesting things about the unconscious that he spotted and I spotted about 10 years ago, probably at the same time he did. But he flips things in and out, and he's just playing word games. I think at the end of the day, he's trying to create a fucking religion with the Essentia Foundation, and they're trying to get people to buy into this new wave crap. It's just, I don't know if it's any more than that.
Always
Seems
makes
to
me
be
think
the
of
one that is. Oh, okay.
When they had that one movie, and he went to the training thing, and he had the thing on down his leg because they made you hold it and not go to the bathroom as part of the S training and everything. And he's sitting there just with a smile on his face as it's running down Tainer.
Wow.
There's always a loophole.
Okay,
There's always a loophole.
Yeah.
Yep.
Those two links to Alyssa Ney's talks on physicalism are in the private chat. You can put those in the description if you haven't already.
Okay. Let me go ahead and do that. Oh, so that's Alyssa Ney. Yeah.
When he wants you to come for like a weekend retreat or something.
Yep. Yeah, when they start charging at the Essentia Foundation, I wonder if they do. I'm hooked up on all these meetups for psychedelic research.
Well,
Some of them cost
$4,000
for a weekend.
Yeah. And you get a room full of people with like mind or like seeking or whatever they're doing, then it reinforces everything, between. And then everybody else starts going, oh, okay, It makes sense to everybody else. I'm still confused, though.
Electrochemical, yeah. Yep.
And
we're
Grayson and
working
Leo
on it.
both said they were confused as well. So,
Has Grayson been in the chat?
Yeah, he was in the comments.
Oh,
yeah, I think last
cool. Oh, the
time
comments of a
he was,
different
yeah.
of a different thing. Okay.
Man, yeah, I don't know if I describe it as neural communication. There's a pattern of activity in our brains right now, all of us, basically. And these, if you can imagine, it's like if you were to neuroimage it, you would see these little flashes of light and clouds moving across your brain and basically popping up here and there. And that's happening all the time. And that is mentation. That's what mentation is. How can that make a universe? I don't know. I don't know how that does that.
Okay, it treats.
Because
I'm sorry, I'm just clicking things up here on the screen too. It's just it's interesting. I appreciate Mandible providing us a critique of physicalism from his point of view.
Okay,
there is a mentacle. There is a
Okay.
mentacle. You see Sydney's comment, Mike? From the Urban Dictionary. A combination of mental and physical traits is a mentacle.
Oh, mentacles. Okay, hang on a second. I'm going to post that first before we get to Mandible. Combination of mental and physical traits. Huh. Wow, I never heard of that. I thought I invented it. Goddamn. Okay. Critique of physicalism is that it treats your subjective experience as an external existence. It is. That is your subjective experience. Well, external to what? I mean, your subjective experience is just what's happening to you as an organism and the area around you that is impinging on you as an organism. That's your subjective experience. It's not just in your brain. It's not in your skull. It's in your body and it's in the world around you all at the same time. In your stream of activity, basically, if you were to look at yourself with some sort of super microscope so you could see every fucking atom, every molecule, every bit of exchange of energy, you would see this stream of activity. It would look kind of like a river with all kinds of swirls in it and all that stuff. And that is your subjective experience.
Before Speed reacts any further to Mandible's statements, I just want to say I appreciate Mandible for his contribution. I appreciate receiving critiques of physicalism, because as I learn more about these different metaphysics, it's good to know what other dualists, in a way, from a dualist perspective, what critiques we have of physicalism.
Yes, Mandible, we love you, but at least one of us likes your critiques of physicalism.
I appreciate getting them and being able to mull them over.
No, I love Mandible.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure, because you may say something a little harsh, and then I won't know how to feel about it, because
I mean, I care about Mandible so much that I work day and night trying to find a cure for his dualism.
Well, I do. Also, just throwing this out here, go over to Mandible's channel if you want some intense and thorough analyses of Bernardo Kastrup's Analytic Idealism, and there's some other thinkers that he has tackled as well. So,
and not only that,
Mandible, you can see it spelled on the side chat and on the screen, and take a look at his stuff.
Well, today Mandible did a video on the head and the heart of the Essentia Foundation, which he calls, see if I can get this up on the screen, and I linked it in my description. Essentia Foundation is the aristocracy. You are the worker. And so it's kind of a critique of their them promoting the Essentia Foundations. I haven't, I had to start this stream, so I haven't been able to watch it all, but I'm going to watch it. Everybody else should. He's only got 26 views. What the fuck? Yeah.
And that's a very enticing title. I like that.
It is.
There has been an objection that you're not a dualist per se, Mandible. I do see that. I would look forward to hearing you say things in your own words. I've adopted.
Oh, Scott, quit kissing ass.
I'm not kissing ass. I just want I want Mandible to know he's appreciated for all his hard work and thought. And
I already said I
disagree with him. Just disagree with him, but I just want him to always know he's appreciated.
Okay. If your experience, this is a good point. If your experience is confined to your mind, then your mind is what you have access to, and everything you call outside is all inside. Yes, I disagree with that strongly. That is not what's going on. We are in participation with the physical universe. We're one thing, moving through time in this stream of shit happening, basically. So that I strongly agree with. Can you heart comments? Because that's a good one.
I wish we could.
Icarus was just saying something about the chats interconnecting. There is a way to do that. I'll have to look into it.
Is there? Yeah, that would be good if we got everybody on the same chat.
Yeah, there is a way. You need an app or something to do it. There is a way to do it.
Do we have to take Icarus's wrench away?
I don't know. Icarus.
I see. He's talking about us being on two channels.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, but he said the D. He said the D word. You can't say the D word on Speed's channel. Goddamn duelists. Anyway. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's not solipsism because he says the whole universe is conscious all at once. But the universe would be...
The universe is in a vat.
Well, the universe would be the solipsist. The universe, everything is happening inside the universe's mind.
But
right?
The universe has... what's the word, DID? Dissociative identity disorder. So,
yeah, maybe it's in a bigger universe, and it's dissociative too.
Wow. Nobody ever thinks about people with mental illness being a brain in the vat too. Like you have a mentally ill brain in a vat, and now that's the analogy to the universe. Now that is the universe. I'm confusing myself.
Yeah. Mandible, don't start with the I'm a physicalist because I'm emotional about it and I just don't want to give it up. No, I've thought about this stuff very thoroughly. Sorry. Reject that, Mandible. I'm not a dualist per se. Okay. Let's see.
My thing is that all they don't seem to interact with our reality. So we think this.
Who wants to say Danny on this channel?
What?
What did you say, Scott?
Oh, am I not allowed to say Danny on this channel?
Oh God, I'm gonna.
So if I said
I threw him out.
on, or that would get me banned.
I just threw you out. What the hell did I just hear? I heard a boop. What was that? What was a boop?
I think you threw Dave off. Did you
I
get thrown off, Dave?
Yeah.
I meant to throw Scott off. God damn it. I threw the wrong guy out. I'm sorry, Dave. Oh, shit. Let's see. Brain in a vat is still a mental consciousness in physical form. Yeah. Yeah. The whole brain in a vat thing is basically, I don't know.
Yeah, Dave is kind of roboting a little bit.
Are you? Not for me.
Is it?
No.
I thought I had it.
Not right now.
I thought I had it.
We got 2 D words now. We got Danny and dualism. So
Yeah.
Oh God, I just said them both. Toss me out. Oh, okay. Anyway, should we listen to some more Kastrup here?
Sure.
We haven't gotten anywhere. Oh, let's see.
Okay. So it's like usually we think that there's life and there are beings who are conscious, and then us maybe who are the most conscious beings. And all the life, all the kind of subjectivity, the emotions, the love, the hate, and so on, it just happens in here, happens within our nervous systems.
No.
And everything else is just dead matter. That's kind of, and you're challenging that and saying that's not the case. Everything is made of the same kind of stuff. It's all made of subject.
What do they have to call it? Dead matter? What the fuck are they? I don't know.
We have.
Isn't there something known as poisoning the well?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't you think by putting the word dead before a term repeatedly, you are perhaps poisoning the well?
Yep. That's what they're doing. Moisturize me.
Is my
Yes, it is.
You were
hear
never
me?
gone, as far as I could tell.
Oh, you were clicking all over. Said they couldn't hear me.
Oh yeah, I cut you out for a moment. I don't know. Okay. You're back. Maybe you weren't back on your channel, maybe?
I know.
Oh shit. Yeah, did I fuck your channel up?
I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, I hope not. Oh no. I'm a bad man. No. You're still there. Yeah. I think you're still there. Say something.
Hello?
Dave?
It's still clipping.
can't
I'm
see
not
anything.
sure why.
Well, you're
I
not clicking
thought-
on Restream.
Yeah, I don't think it would have anything to do with me doing that, because if I removed you on my channel, you're still going to be pairing on your channel and you're still doing the stream. So I don't know. Not sure.
Okay, well,
Okay.
I don't know why, because I thought I had the setting. Okay, now it's good, he says. Or they said, okay.
Okay. We're going to go on.
It was because you were clicking those buttons, Mike. That's what it was.
I'm not going to click anymore. Never again. I promise.
Okay.
That is that kind of what it's
That's
what it's saying?
precisely correct. So essentially, it is materialism as a metaphysics that says that the world you experience around you, this world made of colors and flavors and sounds, materialism says this world is actually inside your head alone, because it's your brain that is supposed to somehow generate the colors and the melodies and the flavors and the smells.
No, that's not physicalism. That's not materialism. The colors are actually out there. The smells are actually out there. The molecules. It's all actually out there. And your brain basically is something that gets acted on by all the stuff that's out there. So all the qualities of the universe are actually fucking really out there. And it isn't like you're bringing them into your brain and you're creating something. You're making a drawing or a representation, and then there's some homunculus inside of you looking at it. That is the biggest understanding in the neuroscience of consciousness, that there is a homunculus looking at stuff that you're representing inside of your brain. You don't represent shit inside of your brain. If you were cut off from the world entirely, and I mean your entire body, including your hypothalamus, so that you had no input at all to your brain, within 30 minutes, you would be stark raving mad and you wouldn't be functioning anymore. Our consciousness, our old current consciousness is always paired with and enacting with the universe around you. So when you imagine something in space and time, you're actually using visual and audio cues from the world around you right now to do that imagining. You're always imagining things currently in your brain. If you shut all that stuff off, you would quickly go out like a fucking dead battery. And you'd be off in La La Land in no time. Sensory deprivation kind of attempts to get you to that, but sensory deprivation cannot get rid of your proprioception and a whole bunch of other stuff. So if we were just to isolate your brain, you would fizz out in no time. I think you'd become completely unconscious within minutes.
What is it about those silent rooms that people can't stay in them for very long?
Because your mind starts to get unhinged. Because you have nothing. You basically have nothing to tack with. Because your brain is like it's an AI that has been trained on all of these inputs to work in like a resonance with the universe around you, impinging on you. And that's how we operate, and that's what we are, and that's what subjectivity is, if you want to use that fucking shitty word. Basically, you're resonating with the universe around you as you move through your life constantly. It's constantly changing you. You're changing it.
We need all that background going on.
Yeah, and that's qualia. Basically. Like when I see the color red, part of the feeling that I'm seeing the color red is the feeling of my joints, my hypothalamus, my blood, everything in my body, my stomach. If I eat a bad bit of beef, red might be have a different quality. I mean, it's all at once happening to you as an organism. And you are like if you were to try to write down a description of all the different things going on inside of your body right now, you'd have a stack of documents that would reach to Mars and back. I mean, there's a lot of shit going on in us. And that is our subjective experience, this current moving through time. I mean, it's cool that we can talk about it and we can reflect and we can remember it and we can accumulate history. I mean, we are really cool organisms. Why the fuck do we need more than that? I mean, why do we need to make something bigger out of it than what we already are? We already are a really cool thing. It's like, God, get over yourselves. Okay.
Yeah, why do you need something bigger and better than just appreciate the self? It's like, wow. Yeah.
My life has no meaning unless I have a God to give me meaning. It's like bullshit. It's like, stop it.
Well, like playing with the microscope, you start looking and you're like, wow, in a drop of water, there's a whole other existence going on. It's just mind blowing what's going on in a drop of water. And then, oh, you need something more than and everything. And it's like, are you kidding me? Look what's going on in this drop of water. And then you go the other end, pull the telescope out. Look out there. Look that's plenty. That's so much wonder there.
Okay, so AIA, are you making it bigger by appealing to some realm outside yourself? Yeah. I mean, there's, we know about a lot of stuff outside of ourselves. But if you just look at my body, just what's going on in my body, that's enough.
Yeah. Deconverted Man's giving you an idea for a thumbnail there.
Where's the mustard and mayo to go with the ketchup? Oh, there you go. Okay, thank you. I just got an idea.
That on the AI list.
Yep. Okay. Right.
My chat is cooler, but Mike's chat has all the brain power in it. So.
Okay. Let's see. Reverse solipsism. I don't know what the fuck how that would work. Let's see. Not much going on in me other than automated need to breathe and smoke weed. Also cats. Lots of cats snuggling is necessary. That kind of describes my life.
Reverse solipsism to me would be everything is real and all other minds exist except mine.
Yeah.
So.
And if you missed it, Mike and I and BS Lewis were all on Deconverted Man's stream. Was it Saturday?
Oh, the one I wasn't invited to? Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Scott's still bitter about that Deconverted Man.
Yeah.
And so you can go check that out if you missed it. We had a nice talk.
Let's see. Yes, I sort of meant that. I imagine the argument he is making something like we are part of the universe, therefore God. I'm trying to understand. I'm an amateur, but atheist. Okay. Sydney Raptor. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm part of the universe. What the fuck? I mean, I'm made of physical stuff. All of me. And I'm interacting with all of you people, and you people are like far away from me, and we're still interacting. We are cool fucking things. I mean, think about it. I mean, if the squirrel could contact the squirrel in fucking Australia right now and communicate with them, wouldn't you take your hats off to that squirrel? I mean, for God's sake.
Bernardo even talked about it, that with the technology we have, that they were talking, I think with the hippie couple, the 9 time zones away or whatever in real time and all this. And and it's like, okay, that's all physical material and everything, right? And okay, I'm agreeing with everything he says, and then you say he'll do a 180 and say something, you're like, put the brakes on, hold up, wait a minute, and then you get lost on what he's trying to say because you think you're following along, and then he does this U-turn on you.
Yeah, I think it's almost like he's trying to create a cult of some sort, and he's very careful to include all of what we would accept as science in his cult. And yet he's kind of twisting it around to his side. And I don't know how this man thinks.
Yeah, he seems to have a lot of Eastern style influence, but he has said that his affinity is for Christianity in some form. So that is kind of trying to have it all.
And the Eastern religion of Zen Buddhism is perfectly compatible with physicalism and science. I mean, there's nothing in it. If you read Ellen Watts, you will be hard-pressed to find anything that's incompatible anywhere.
He is on a lot of streams, a lot of channels. So.
Now, don't pick on the squirrels. Squirrels are Zen-like. They're perfect. Like, I worship the squirrel, the great squirrel. He lives in my backyard.
Watching these videos, my feed is full of Bernardo videos. He is everywhere.
Oh God, he is everywhere. I get about 3 a day. They're all from most of them are from like a year ago. He must have been like on 24/7 on other people's channels. And every channel he's on is like Adisthana, these woo people. Yeah, he's just all over the woo people. They love him. He's their man. Cult-like following. There you go. Anyway, okay. So we got to the Strawman of Physicalism. Let's see, there's some other shit going on here later on. At 21, he gets ramped up.
Einstein came along. And he said, no, Newton's convenient fiction is no longer convenient because it doesn't help us
Einstein
predict the orbit of Mercury with accuracy, and it doesn't help us understand why we can see stars that are actually behind this.
Yeah, so he's talking about, he's talking about the models we have of the universe, and we had the Newtonian model, and then Einstein came along and he kind of corrected a little bit, but he didn't overturn Newtonian mechanics, which we use today when we develop bridges. We don't use quantum mechanics when we develop bridges, basically. So he goes on about that a little bit, and yeah, they're models, and we know that we have models of the universe, and that's how science works. What's your point, dude?
Only need convenient fictions. And we will always replace convenient fictions when they are no longer convenient, when we need another convenient fictions. That's what we have to keep in mind. These are models that allow us to make predictions.
And it's like, you remember the evolution video, Scott, that you linked for me? Who did that? What was his name?
The evolution video?
Yeah, the guy that was talking about why evolution is, all the different kinds of evolution and the history of evolution, and how all these different ideas, yet we still use the very same population genetics they developed in the 20s. And we use ideas from Darwin. And who was that?
Was that Zach Hancock?
Yes, Zach Hancock.
Okay. Yeah, I got a channel to go to for really interesting genetics and evolution content. Is it Zach B or Zach P Hancock?
I think it's Zach B Hancock.
Yeah.
Let me see. Why don't I have Zach? Oh my God, I don't have him listed in my database of YouTube channels. Hang on a second. I got to link it now that we talked about it. But anyway, he talks about all the things that have been added to evolution, all the ideas and the evolution, and now we're at what we call the extended synthesis. And the thing is, at no point did we replace one model with another. Okay, we simply made the model more and more detailed, more and more correct. And this idea that science just, one day we believe this and tomorrow we're going to believe something else. This is just another emotional appeal, and I'm kind of tired of it.
I want to welcome Kevin Lentini Music. I believe ran across them on the Beat channel.
Okay.
Learning how to make my beats. So,
Kevin Lentini Music, Bigfoot.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on the Bigfoot too. Appreciate it.
Here is Zach's video. Is evolution a theory in crisis? And he does a very good job of explaining a whole lot of history and a whole lot of evolution. And it's really a good video.
Yeah, it's a really tight, well put together presentation.
It is. And his stuff is just so good, it makes me want to quit trying to even do shit.
Yeah, when you get this kind of scholarly, scientific resource talking to you pretty much at your level, then that's a treasure. I mean, that's a great resource on the internet.
And he knows what he's talking about. He's actually trained in this shit. I don't know if he's a PhD but he's close. Okay, so let me go ahead and put this video in. I suggest people, it gives you a real good overview of all this bullshit, that, evolution is a theory in crisis. No, it ain't. No crisis. Okay.
That's just dumb.
Yeah. It's so dumb.
It's dumb.
Yeah. Kent Hovind said it's dumb.
It's dumb.
Just the dumbest thing ever.
It's a religion.
They are
It's
not-
a religion. They don't have any business teaching it in schools.
Yeah, my taxpayer money. And of course, he doesn't pay
Yeah, he
taxes.
doesn't pay taxes.
People that talk about that, they very seldom pay taxes themselves. Isn't that amazing or ironic? The irony.
necessarily reality. They have never been literally true. Why would they be now? Is not accessible to us.
It's never been literally true that when you throw a ball up in the air, it forms that parabolic arc and comes back down. That's never been true. Never been literally true. How in the fuck does this guy play baseball or play ball with his kids, right? I mean, I don't get it. Never been literally true. So he's saying that, oh, the old paradigm got thrown out entirely. Newtonian mechanics doesn't exist. What did they teach it as the first thing in physics?
Yeah, I remember excruciatingly going through Newtonian physics when I was in college. I didn't learn much about quantum, but I did, try to project, trajectories where like an airplane that blew up would land and where the parts would land and things like that in physics class. And they were all very Newtonian, nothing but Newtonian.
Seen further is by standing on the shoulders of giants. That was Sydney Raptor. So, yep. Okay.
So even then, you were kind of aware, knowing your history of science as you did, that there'd been a series of maps for reality, and they keep changing. They keep on changing when we can't explain all the phenomena that we want to be able to explain in the new map. But I wonder also,
what the fuck do you think science is? I mean, Jesus Christ. It's like, yeah, we're still trying to explain leaves and photosynthesis and a whole bunch of stuff. But at no point do we throw away everything that we've learned till now. And what the hell is he trying to say here? It's like, oh, the scientists, they're so naive. The physicalists, the materialists are so dumb.
Sorry,
that was one thing.
What? What'd you say?
I was just going to say, it's just God of the gaps.
Yeah.
Well, you can't answer this, you can't answer that. Forget all the things that they can answer.
You see how excited the guy on the right is? He's just really excited by this. Oh, science is wrong. Therefore, crystal woo. To get a crystal and I'm going to fucking hum with my Zen gong. And I don't know what he's got wrapped around his neck, but he better be careful not to get near one of the old-fashioned printers or lean over and check his oil while his car, or check his windshield washer fluid while his car's running.
But there was another, which is much closer to lived experience. We have this naive notion called physical realism, this naive notion that the world as we see, that the forms of the objects and things we see around us, they are the forms of the world as it is in itself.
Okay. So if I go out and walk in the woods and I see a tree in front of me, I should walk straight through it because it's naive to think that it's really there. I mean, what the fuck? I defend naive realism anyway.
Oh, it's Trusty Ape. Okay.
Oh, who is?
Kevin Lentilli Music is also Trusty Ape.
I should have known that. God
okay. Good to see you, Ape.
So why haven't you called me?
That's Trusty Ape?
Yeah, that's Trusty
All
Ape.
right, cool.
Kevin. I should have known that. I forgot the last name. I'm sorry. I just automatically blank Italian names. I'm sorry.
We got you now. Okay.
In other words, we think that perception is a transparent window into the world as it actually is. But that's absolutely nonsensical. That would basically mean that we cannot control our internal entropy. In other words, we would die just by looking at the world. It's certainly not what...
What the heck?
What?
Now, leap to conclusion, anybody?
We would die by looking at the world, right?
Yeah, listen to this.
Forms of the world as it is in itself. In other words, we think that perception is a transparent window into the world as it actually is. But that's absolutely nonsensical. That would basically mean that we cannot control our internal entropy. In other words, we would die just by looking at the world.
What the fuck is he? What? Did he smoke some dope before he went on this guy's channel?
Okay, in an attempt to strawman. I'm sorry, Steelman. I know the difference between the two, but I always switch them up when I'm speaking. There is the idea that, if I look at a tree, I have very limited ways to perceive it or observe it, and that is through my touch, if I dare, through my taste, through can't really, I guess I could hear a tree by hearing it kind of groan and creak or whatever. Yep. There are certain ways, of course, seeing the light bounce off my retina and processing that in my mind with my brain. Those are different ways to experience a tree, but they're, I'm not seeing the infrared. I'm not seeing maybe any kind of ultraviolet or whatever that it might be producing. There's some level of sound it may produce that I just don't get.
Right. You know what else? Do you know what else you can't see, Scott? You can't see what's behind the tree.
Well, that's true. That's true.
And there's a lot of things, from our perspective, we can see, and from, the nature of what we are. But yeah, you can't see infrared. We can't see X-rays. We can't see quanticles,
Is that another word I need to look up?
No, don't look up words that I make up.
Okay, you're making that one. Okay, so that's in
my butt.
That's a speed produced terminology. So, but anyway, how we experience the world is incomplete. It's only at certain wavelengths, at certain levels of energy that we can experience the world, and sure, but
what did he just say about we can't? What the?
But that's absolutely nonsensical. That would basically mean that we cannot control our internal entropy.
What do you mean control internal entropy?
Well, maybe he means reduce internal entropy through the management that organized parts of our cells and everything. Say what?
When I eat a sandwich, I think I control my internal entropy.
Yeah, you kind of do, but maybe if you tried to consume all the energy in the universe, you would blow up, and therefore you can't control your internal entropy. Maybe that's what he means, but I don't know how he has to jump from being able to perceive the universe with our particular types of sensory organs, and then of course there's extensions to our sensory organs, which is measuring heat that we can't, or measuring light that we can't see, sound that we can't hear. There are ways to do that, and even then that's going to be incomplete, and there may be ways that we can't conceive of the universe because it would, we're just limited organic objects.
Even these things we can't see and everything, though, we can still find ways to detect them or whatever, right. And they're still material, though, even if they're going on without us being able to see them. So it's back to that doesn't change anything about reality. It's just
just look at the tree.
Part of the reality is that we can't see certain wavelengths, and we need equipment to see them.
Oh shit! So Sydney Raptor found quanticles too, an alternative term for subtropic entity. Okay, we're gonna have to block him. Okay.
No, it's just hearing you, and it's immediately posting it online
Yep.
before Sydney can look it up. It's just that fast. Google has just gotten that fast now.
I'm trying to plow new ground here, Sydney. I'm just, and you're just fucking with me. It's like,
Mike's talking into his series or whatever it is he's got there, and
yeah.
printing it right out.
One thing that like there are things that we can't grasp very well. Like think of what we have learned about the geology of the Earth's core and mantle, the properties of it. How thick and stony everything is, yet it flows due to the heat and the pressure generated by radioactivity and gravity and all sorts of things. We kind of can use analogy and seismic waves done from explosions and things like that to figure out how the internal processes of the Earth works, but it's hard to conceive of. So we have knowledge of something that's external to us and foreign to us, but how that has anything to do with the entropy inside of me, I don't know. That just seems like quite a leap.
Yeah, let's see where he goes with this.
Yeah.
I think maybe he had a brain glitch or something. I don't know.
In other words, we would die just by looking at the world. It's certainly not what evolution would have favored. Evolution favors survival, not the truth of what you see. The world as it actually is.
Okay, that's from Donald Hoffman. That basically the evolution favors survival, but it would never favor the truth unless those two things happen to be the same thing. That you had to be able to see trees in order to walk around them.
Yeah, truth can kill you.
Yeah, right.
Truth hurts, truth kills.
Okay.
It's almost certainly not at all like what is on the screen of perception, in the same way that the sky outside an airplane,
There he is with the straw man, the screen of perception.
doesn't look at all like the airplane's dashboard. But the dashboard presents
He's
accurate.
got this stupid airplane dashboard idea where reality is just, we get the measurements from our senses and then they display them on the dashboard of our inner representation or whatever the fuck it is. It's like, it's just dumb.
Information about the world outside. So if a pilot didn't have a transparent window to see the sky outside, he could still fly safely by instruments alone. But the world doesn't look like.
Unless he's flying in one of those Boeing aircraft where they forgot to put the bolts in the door.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oops.
It's like they determined that it was good news. It wasn't a failure of the bolts.
Yeah.
Bad news, they forgot to put the bolts in. Oh my god, that was a good one.
Like an instrument panel. The instrument panel is just a way to convey accurate information about the world. That's what perception is.
Hey, what?
Perception is
Wait. Accurate information about the world? Doesn't that kind of imply truth?
He used the word accurate.
He did say that. Yeah.
Instrument panel. It displays information that comes from our sensors, our retinas, eardrums, and so forth. And we are like pilots who were born inside an airplane cockpit without windows. All we have is the dashboard. So what we do.
That's about the worst fucking analogy for a human being that I can imagine. We're like a pilot who's born inside of an airplane with frost on the windows. It's like, I think I'm going to go fucking slit my wrists. I don't know.
Well, it's and by the way he talks about everything, it would be both, because you have the instruments, but then you also have, you can think of all these philosophical things, which would be looking out the windows.
Well, yeah, we can see the tree, but then we can get the microscope out and instrument, and we can see a little bit more and figure a little more out. And then and then we grind the thing up and figure out what proteins are in it. I mean, I don't. It's all about getting a better and better and clearer and more detailed model of what is really going on in the physical universe. So I don't know what he's talking about. They want you to believe that all of science was gathered by our perception, that we perceived things, right?
By our direct perception. There are extensions to it.
Yeah.
But,
as if we were born yesterday and we just, oh yeah, okay, I just saw a molecule, yeah, okay.
Well, I understand that part. But then he'll turn around though and say though that it still existed before we did though.
Yeah.
So again, then he'll contradict what he's saying.
Universal mentation is what he's going to get out of that one. So the universe is what's doing the perceiving or the thinking or the imagining or whatever.
And we're back to, is it a one-way or a two-way communication? That's that he's not clear on that either.
Okay, Thor, you're a little pissed off at me because I wasn't petting the Thor. Wasn't petting him seriously enough, so he thrumphed off. Anyway, okay. So we're just about done for the day. Let's just see where he's going for a little while, and then I think we'll call it, eh?
We think the dashboard is the world. In other words, we think the world is physical, which is absolutely nonsensical. It's absurd. Physicality is the dashboard representation of the world.
Look how excited that dude is.
yeah. Oh boy.
It's not real. Physical's not real. Oh, that means woo. That means I'm going to get my crystal.
I remember that metaphor. It was a really good metaphor in your book on materialism.
Yeah, it's not a good metaphor.
Why materialism is baloney. Oh, I meant to list all of the books you've written at the beginning. I'll say some at the end.
Anyway, okay. Yeah, I'm done with them for today. I'm done. Jesus.
And they talk a lot about he's written a lot of books, okay, but what kind of peer review stuff does he have, Mike?
His books are pretty goddamn sparse. I don't know. I've got a bunch of them. I'm working on them, but his paper is what I'm working on. No, I'm working on. Let's see, where is it here? If I could show it. Bernardo Kastrup, Analytic Idealism. Oh my goodness. Automatically resize. And bear with me. If you can. Oh, let's see here. Okay, automatically resize. Yeah,
He's just restating Plato's cave.
Yeah. Kind of.
He's just restating that. I mean, what is this guy really bringing other than kind of an elitism?
Yeah, let me get that right. Why ain't it right? Is it right? It's right. Okay, it's right. Okay. Anyway, this thing. So I've gone through. I went through some of his later chapters, and I guess I'm back here. Okay, this is the beginning of it. So this is Analytic Idealism, a consciousness-only ontology. And this is kind of an accumulation of a whole bunch of his papers.
Isn't that a PhD thesis or something that he wrote? Or
Maybe.
Doesn't he include it?
Is Mandible still here? I hadn't heard from Mandible for a while. He seems to have his PhD thesis. I'd like to read that. So we got, in a nutshell, the big picture, the appendices, false mind matter dichotomy. Yeah, subjective objective dichotomy is what you start with, you jerk. Abstract. Okay, he's got a universe in consciousness on the plausibility of idealism, refuting criticism. That's where I'm at right now. Then we have, there is an unconscious, but it may well be conscious. I agree with him there. Self-transcendence correlates with the brain function impairment. That's his, oh my God. That's his whole bunch of bullshit on psychedelics, which he got completely wrong, misquoting Robin Carhart Harris. And then concluding remarks, not its own meaning, a hermeneutic of the world, the physicalist worldview as neurotic ego defense mechanism. Oh my God.
Poison a well once again. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I got to read that one. I'm going to read that tomorrow morning. Neurotic ego defense mechanism. Holy fuck. Okay. Anyway, so that is what I'm going through. And I think when we really get serious about criticizing Kastrup, we're going to have to address these papers. That will be the job. But
and does anybody cite his work, or is it?
I don't know.
Standing alone in his field, so to speak.
I've had trouble finding his work on the NCBI. Maybe it is, and I could look at it and tell me how many citations there are.
Have you put his name through Google Scholar?
I think I did. Let me see if I got an NCBI. Oh, let's see. His materialism fantasy.
That's my potholer in me, is go and check and see if anybody else cites them.
Yeah. Google Scholar. Okay, Kastrup. Oh, yeah, he's got a bunch of stuff. No, wait a minute. No, he doesn't. Wait a minute. He must. Google Scholar doesn't. His name is B. Kastrup, right?
That or Bernardo Kastrup, or I don't think we have a middle initial or name for him. So,
okay, I got Bernardo. Okay, B. Kastrup, The Universe in Consciousness. So that's one of them, but that's a PDF. The Idea of the World, a multidisciplinary argument for the mental nature of reality. That's a book. Okay, that's a book. And then we got Ontological Solution to the Mind-Body Problem. That's a PDF. I can't get that. How True Skeptics Know There Is No Death. Okay. That's
whoa.
Making
That's
sense.
Crossing the line into religion, don't you think?
No birth, no death. There's only a continuance. That's
yeah. It lists a lot of the papers that it shows here in the contents. Most of his papers are in this master document. Okay, he's got one called The Next Paradigm. That was from 2018. That's more current.
Ooh, The Next Paradigm.
He's got a bunch of books. Yeah, I got that book. More Than an Allegory on Religious Myth, Truth, and Belief. Oh, there we go. That should be interesting.
What year was that?
That's a book, 2016. I think I got all. Yeah. Anyway, we got a lot of work to do with this guy because he is the new fundamentalism. I think it's going to be based in this, like in Bloomington here. I went to this store called Crystal Health or something, and
did you go finally?
Yeah, Scott called it Woomart. And you go in there and they ring this Zen gong up. They spin around this Zen gong and they bless your purchase. And they blow. When I went in there, she was walking around the store and she said, "I'm sorry for the smoke." She had a sage pot and she was blessing the store because they had just opened. And I bought some tea, some really good tea. My friend Rhonda, I should call her my friend Rhonda. She bought a bracelet. And they blessed her bracelet with the Zen gong and all that. But I mean, that's kind of like the new wave bullshit, because a lot of people are realizing how idiotic Christianity is. When they go off, they're still looking for meaning in their life. So they find crystals and it's just
banging a gong.
Yeah,
What's up, Al?
My last words are going to be fucking duelists. I mean, it's never going to end, is it?
Now we have
Al Truckers.
Okay, I'm not wearing my reading glasses. No, I'm sorry.
Illyrian,
yeah.
Illyrian.
He is using entropy in a proprietary way.
Yeah.
In other words, isn't that a fallacy known as equivocation?
I don't know what he meant. He said if you perceive the world we couldn't control our own internal entropy. Does that make any sense at all to anybody?
Well, entropy is basically the total disorganization of energy, resulting in a unable to do any work with it. So
if you quit eating, you're going to wind down.
Yeah, or if you eat too much, maybe. But yeah,
I was like,
when I hear it, I think he's talking about somehow aging or something.
I don't know what he means.
Well, where you're going from usable energy to non-usable energy, from an organized state to total disorganization. So yeah, all of those things. It's almost like blowing. If you light a match, you can light a candle. You can see in the dark or whatever. But if you blow up a nuclear bomb, then you're destroyed along with the flame.
Yeah,
a nuclear bomb really isn't a flame, but you know what I mean.
So look at this comment. I have a friend who buried a pot of water in the full moonlight and used it to recharge her rocks.
Sumami was saying they sold crystals for a while.
Oh my God.
People totally believe they do all kinds of things.
Yeah,
hey, me too. I got a bag of them, and
next time I go to that store to buy tea,
I'm hoping they do something. But
I'll get a picture. I'll get a picture of that store. It's an absolutely beautiful store, but it is 90% crystals. I mean, and they want like fucking $50 for some of them. I mean, the really important ones, the ones that heal consciousness or something. They're really expensive. The more the tougher your problem, the more you're going to pay to get a crystal to heal it. The only crystal I need is my salt shaker.
You need a big pyramid up over your bed.
Yeah.
And put some garlic around your windows just in case.
What the hell is Sedona? That's some new woo shit.
Don't make me break out my tarot cards, asshole.
I keep thinking you're calling somebody an asshole.
Entropy unchanged.
As ho.
Okay, guys, I'm tired.
You gotta enunciate.
Let's shoot her in the head.
Hippie Hub in Arizona.
Oh, okay, got it.
That's good to know. Thank you, Frankenstein.
Yeah, we need to find out. Yeah, if anybody is citing him at all, or if he's just
oh my God,
writing books, because anybody can write books. But
Sydney just outdid me. Scientisticals. Writing that one down. Oh my God.
That's a great word. Mind if we use it, Sydney?
I don't get it. You did it on my channel. I own it now. Fuck you. No copy.
You got to get some merch. You got to get some merch going with your words, Mike.
Scientisticals. Yeah. Okay, guys. We got to quit. So we got to shoot her in the head. We'll do more of this. Actually, we're getting some views and some attention from other people over this Bernardo stuff. So the YouTuber in me kind of likes that.
And hey, I'm gonna pop on in a little bit and do a stream with Asho.
You are? So. Okay. We'll have to watch for that. Okay, guys, we're gonna shoot her in the head. You good, Scott? Dave?
I'm good. Yep. I'm good.
Good talking with you guys.
Yeah, thank you, Side Chat, for your energetic participation.
Side chat was great today. Awesome.
Lots of folks in the chat. Good to see everybody, and good to see the Trusty Ape. Welcome back.
Yep. And Trusty Ape, if you're still out there, you got my phone number. Anyway, see you guys later. Goodbye, cruel world.